to Season 2, Episode 11 of the podcast. You may not agree with us.
But
I'm Maris Lowery.
And I'm Eric Thomas.
And we have a special guest, Tuck, the barking dog.
Tuck, the barking dog. He said
Now,
he wanted to sit in. He said he wanted to make this podcast take it to another level. So we'll see what he does.
And that's right, Eric. Also, Tuck also whispered in my ear he's best when the lights are at its brightest. And the lights are very bright. So he said he's ready to perform. So when we get around to the barking dog, we'll see if he's ready to perform.
Well, unlike you, he knows he has to perform where he's out of here.
That could be me too. Also, our podcast, as always, is brought to you by Window World of Beckley. It's not too late to think about getting your home winterized with great windows from Window World. Also, from Modley's Plumbing and Heating, you can dial them up at 304-253-HELP. And Chick-fil-A in both the Beckley Galleria and Harper Road in Beckley. And you want to eat more chicken is what the cow will tell you, right?
Oh, yeah, that's a smart cow, right?
That's a smart cow, yes. All right, we start what we always do with the Raleigh County Report. And Eric, before we get started into football, we got to give out a shout congratulations to both the Beckley Woodrow Wilson High School volleyball team and the Shady Spring volleyball team. They both have punched their ticket to the state volleyball tournament.
Yeah, and that was good. The Beckley girls, of course, coming from a 3 seed, really coming together when it counted most and beat a tough Parkersburg South team to earn a bid. And, of course, you covered the Shady game, so
right.
I'll let you talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, Shady was the 2 seed, and they were able to beat Nicholas County, able to beat Ripley and Princeton to punch their ticket. And so Beckley will represent Raleigh County in 4A and Shady representing Raleigh County in AAA.
And what you get with those two volleyball clubs, they're consistent.
Yes.
They are consistently good, and that's hats off to the programs because they've been built. And, the middle schools play well, and it's coming to fruition on the high school level.
Yeah, both of these volleyball teams made it to the state tournament a year ago, and they're back in it again. So, like you said, very consistent.
Very consistent program.
All right, now we'll get into high school football. It's hard to believe, Eric, this is the final week of the regular season.
Wow.
And it feels like playoffs already because a lot of teams know they're in it. They're really battling for position. We'll start in 4A, and the biggest game in 4A is Beckley at George Washington. Beckley's number 9, George Washington number 5. If Beckley wins, they'll get a home game, and if that happens, that'll be the first home playoff game in 20 years, since 2005.
Yeah, and you know what? Everything's right in front of them. We said it after every loss, and it seems like it's a recurring theme with this Beckley team is what you want usually late in the season. Your fate's in your hands. You know you're in, but you can better that position by getting a win and having a home game, and I think that would be a feather in the cap to this senior class.
Yeah, and if you can go on the road and beat a quality team like George Washington, because George Washington's got a lot to play for, they're number 5, and I don't know, but perhaps if they were to defeat Beckley, they might slide up and maybe have an opportunity for 2 home games.
Yeah, and this is a very good George Washington team, multifaceted, good quarterback, good wideout, a nice freshman running get back, and complemented by some veteran running backs. So Beckley will have its hands full, but on the flip side, I think this Beckley team is a team that matches up with George Washington. And George Washington, it's going to be a really, really good playoff atmosphere.
Yeah, Beckley beat George Washington a year ago. You and I had the privilege of covering that game.
Yeah, a couple of turnovers early for George Washington. They were driving the score a couple of times and, laid the ball on the turf, and Beckley was able to capitalize and come up with what was an upset last year.
Yeah, George Washington will enter this game coming out of a bye, and Beckley with their big win over their rival Oak Hill as they beat Oak Hill 49-13. You and I had that game on video production.
Yeah, and it's good for GW to get that rest, but I also think it would have been bad for Beckley coming out of a loss to have a bye week. They got that out of their system now. They're probably feeling pretty good about themselves going down to GW.
In Class AAA, Shady ended their season, but they did end it on a win. Even though they didn't have the kind of year Eric they'd hoped, they finished 4-6, but they went on the road and they squeaked out a win at Westside last week.
Yeah, I like to send a shout out. We're pretty close to that coaching staff. Coach Colasoto, Vince, we graduated the same year, and I don't know what the future holds for you, but I appreciate you hanging in, man, and coaching and touching a lot of lives, man. That's what we don't separate, the football from what these coaches do on a day-to-day basis with these young men that they're around.
Yeah, everybody wants to win, but sometimes it's just not about the W's and the L's. It's also about, when you talk as a parent, and you would know this, Eric, when your kid is, you turn your kid over to that particular coach, whatever that sport is, and you would think, and I'm sure this is the case in most time, the coaches treat your kid as if it's their own kid.
Well, and that's what you want. But, and if they treat them like as I do my kid, they're going to get coached hard.
Yeah.
And you got to understand that. But you as well, this. I still, a lot of men touch my life. as I don't care whether it was in Pee Wee football,
Right.
junior high in our area. It's hard
Right.
for me to say in high school, and I'm still close with my coach to this day, Coach Scotty Cuthbert at Independence.
Well, it's a great thing because Lou Holtz, he had a lot of great quotes, and one of his great quotes was that when you're done coaching, former players want to do two things. They either want to buy you a drink or drinks with an S or punch you in the nose. And Coach Holtz said that he hoped that he had a lot of drinks around his table.
That's right. And you know what? And then that's a testament to his program, and he would definitely have that.
All right, in Class AA, Liberty will finish their regular season. There will be no postseason for them. They're 3-6. They'll try to finish on a winning note after winning last week. They'll take on Wyoming East. Wyoming East is 2-7.
Yeah, and this Liberty team, Jackson Workman, who's really had a real good season. Despite the record, he's come out, and the whole Liberty team, they've come out. The coaches have coached hard, no matter what the score. And I'd like to see. I know he may have gotten to the 1,000 club. I don't know what the status is on that. So let's hope that they have a win Friday night.
And we take a look at the Independence Patriots. Right now, they're sitting at number 3. The Patriots are 8-1. They'll finish up against winless Summers County. Summers County 0-9. Just hasn't been the year Summers County had hoped. But I don't try to figure out all that playoff stuff. But I'm told that even with a big win on Friday, Independence could perhaps slip from 3 to 4.
Yeah, and the thing is, how Coach Lilly will talk to his team. The major mission is just to get in. They're good enough to win from any seed.
That's right.
They're good enough to win from any seed. But I think a lot of people around the area and that coaching staff are trying to see what the status of Silas Nelson is, because he's a big cog. They have weapons everywhere. The quarterback's tremendous. But I still think the guy that makes everything open up and makes the engine go is Nelson.
Right, Silas Nelson. And I agree with you. I think if you're Independence, and I think they would agree, the coaching staff and the community, sure, you'd rather play at home, but you'd rather be healthy. And even if you had to go on the road, that's more important than just being at home.
Yeah, they would take his health over the seed.
Over a home game.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah. So we'll see how that all plays out as we take a look at some other big games in 4A. Actually, this is